Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another installment of the Bald Chef of Bergamo. We're gonna make pizza. Pizza like pizza Napoli. Pizzioli. The people that make the greatest pizza in the world. This is a recipe. Make your own pizza at home just like you were in Napoli. Great, soft crust, bubbly crust. Fantastic stuff. Pretty simple. I'll show you how to do it. So, the first thing we're going to do for this pizza napoletano, Pizziola, Michelangelo, is going to add 500 grams of water.
Okay.
Good job, Mickey, right?
Yeah.
Yes, good job.
Bravo, amore, bravo.
Okay. Then, we're going to add half a teaspoon, a little less than half a teaspoon of yeast. Mickey, would you like to add it? Dump it in there. Okay. Okay, then we're gonna let it kind of mix around. Then we're gonna put some honey in, right? Now this I gotta squeeze this one, Mickey. I gotta squeeze this because it's hard. And we're gonna add a few of these. Oh, gotta wait till it comes out. Maybe a tablespoon of honey. Get this added in there. Almost, there we go. There we go. You like honey, Mickey?
No, I don't.
And then we're gonna mix this up. We'll whisk it up, okay, Mickey?
Yeah.
Let's whisk it up. So we're gonna mix it up good. Good job, Michelangelo. Michelangelo Francesco.
You put this in.
We're gonna do 500 grams of water. Mix it up nice. Excellent, good job, Mickey. Then I'm going to add to this 500 grams of flour in a couple minutes once this yeast is nice and active. I'll mix it up nice and good. Then we'll let it rest for an hour. We'll get the flour added in a couple minutes. So again, I got the yeast, the honey, 500 grams, 500 milliliters, 500 grams of water, and I got my flour. I'll go ahead and add this. Mickey's moved on to drinking his milk and watching a little Sound of Music while I finish mixing up the first stage of this. And this is a very soupy, wet pre-ferment. I'm going to mix this up. Let it sit for 1 hour or so. I'll cover it. Let it sit for an hour, and then I'll add the rest of the flour. This is going to get it, energized for the next stage of my pizza napoletano. Pizziolo. Bald Chef of Bergamo style. Get this mixed up. Alright, I'll cover this up. I will mix this up just a little bit more. Cover it. Wait an hour. We're back in business. So, nice soupy, pancake batter. It's been an hour. I've got another 250 grams of flour. Throw that in there. Then I'm going to do a little bit less than 2 teaspoons. This is 12 grams of salt. A little bit less than 2 teaspoons.
Fine salt?
Fine salt, yeah, fine salt, exactly. Thank you. Thank you.
Lovely assistant.
Lovely assistant. And this is obviously a half teaspoon. And then we're going to do 2.5 tablespoons of olive oil. 1, 2.5. Pretty precise, huh? Precision is not necessary in all aspects of cooking, which is why I love it. Bald Chef of Bergamo loves it. I'm just gonna whip this in like this, and I like doing it in this little bowl here, this big bowl, I guess, because it just gets pretty messy. But once I get this into a lumpy mass, then I'll throw it on the countertop, beat it a few times. Let me get this going in a couple minutes. I'll let you see what it's like to pound it on the countertop, and then we'll store it for the evening. Okay, check back in a minute. Okay, so I got it in my bowl, and now this is where you can have a little fun, kind of get your hands dirty. It's always about feeling it, enjoying it. Mickey has gone to bed. Celeste, they both gone to bed, so they don't get to have fun playing with the dough. Maybe tomorrow when it's time to actually bake it. So this is a pizza dough that we're actually gonna, let rise for about 20 hours. When I was living in Bergamo with my wife, we would go to Pizzeria Sant'Orsola, Via Sant'Orsola, and they would have a big sign out. Today our dough has been fermenting and rising for 24 hours, 28 hours, 36 hours. And you go over there and you see this big bucket, wooden box of fermenting, rising pizza dough. And the pizza was fantastic there, I do have to say. Not that I get any kickbacks from that pizzeria, I'm sure I don't. I'm sure they get some other kickbacks, if you know what I mean. Just a little more flour. It's coming along nicely. And then you get to slam it down here like that. It's always good. And my wife just cleaned the floor, so I'm sorry, honey.
Exactly.
Mi dispiace, tesoro, devo fare qualcosa così. And it's still a little sticky, that's fine. This isn't gonna be a perfect dough. Maybe just a little bit more flour. Because we're gonna let this thing rise in my little patented cupcake container overnight. Again, 20 hours or so before we parse it up, piece it up, proof it for the pizza doughs themselves. All right, I'm gonna put it in my container over here, cover it, put it in a warm place, and let it see it in 20 hours. I'm gonna put a little more flour, it's still a little sticky. We'll check back in 20 hours, thanks. So, I had a little bit more flour. Mixed it in, and as you can see, it's not as sticky. Cover it up. I'm gonna put it in the oven. The oven is not on again. It's standard stuff. Put it in the oven. It's out of the way. We're gonna check it back tomorrow after lunch. Proof it a bit. Put it into about 6. Make 6 small pizza pies with this. Individual pizzas, maybe a little more than individual pizza. Italian individual pizzas, I should say. If you don't want to make pizza with everything, you can make garlic knots with leftover stuff. You can make some Italian twist bread, which is fun to do. We'll just start with the dough. We'll decide tomorrow how many pizzas we're going to make. So it's just after 8 in the morning. It's been 12 hours, and we got a nice sticky fermenting dough. A nice little pasta dough, pizza dough, whatever you want to call it. And this could be ready now. Could be ready to take this out, form it, proof it for a couple hours. But I want to let it sit for another 8 hours or so before I get ready for the pizzas. The more you rest it, let this rest and ferment, the better flavor you're going to get, the better oven rise you're going to get when it's in there. Get the nice crust. So, again, 2 hours before you're ready to eat, you got to take it out, proof it. Otherwise, it's going to be a sticky mess. One thing to note, I've done some calculations in the back of my head, and this is going to make about 6 medium pizzas, okay? Let's say 4 medium-sized pizzas if you were going to a restaurant or ordering from your local pizzeria. It's probably $10 total what we're going to spend on the flour, the sauce, the cheese, maybe little toppings you want to put on. So think about that and compare what you'd pay if you go to your pizzeria. $20, $30, depending on where you go. Or you go to Domino's and you know what you get when you go there, type of thing. So you'll see how easy it is to do at home, and wonderful flavors that will rise from this. Check back in a few hours. Okay, so it's been 20 plus hours. I'm going to eat in a couple hours. So I'm going to take my dough. As you can see, it's nice and fluffy. Rip it out of here carefully. It's all right, we'll get the rest of it out. And then I'm going to pour it on here, and I'm going to shape in about 300 grams each of a couple of pizzas. Shape them and get them ready to proof. This is great, but it'll be easier. Let me show you how to do that here in a second. Let me get it out of here. Voila. Don't want to waste this. This is all good stuff here, right? You never want to throw away flavor, right? If you watch my other episodes, you always want to hold on to the flavor, and all this stuff is little crumbs and pieces that you're going to want to have. I'll leave that right there. All right, so I'm going to have a little bit of flour here. Kind of let myself just get this together a little easier to handle here. There we go. Now, you know, they'll tell you it's a little baseball, softball size. I'm going to make it a little easier on everybody. I'm going to do this. Check this out. That's 240. All right. That'll be 300. So now I'm going to take this, shape it like this. A little bit of flour. I don't want that much flour, just a little bit. Kind of shape it on. I don't know if you get a good view of that. Like that. I'll put it back in here. I'll let it proof there for a couple hours. I'm going to do the same thing with a couple other of these. And then what's left over, I'm going to make into an Italian twist bread. How's that sound? Does that sound okay, Stefania? Lovely
Sounds
assistant.
like a plan.
All right. After you get these proofed, again, let them sit for a couple hours. They'll come up nice and big and be ready to put into the to shape and put into the oven. Check back. Okay, so you can see these proof very nicely. So got a little.
And you cut them?
I'm gonna cut this right. That's right, Mickey. I'm gonna cut it. That's all right. It's all good. And then I'm gonna dip a little bit in the flour here.
Yeah?
Like that. Thank you, Mickey. Okay, let's back up. And as you can see, this is starting to puff up. Just a second, Mickey. And I'm going to stretch this out like this. Mickey, let's keep the flour on the table. It's nice to have helpers, right? I stretch it out. You can already see the bubbles starting to form on this. Just look at that. That's going to be just a perfect...
Look at Mommy!
Look what
Bravo,
you made, Mickey.
amore.
Bravissimo, bravo, Mickey. And I got the oven on it at 550. I'm going to put it on my...
Show the bubbles.
See the bubbles? I'll spread this out like that. Kind of spread it out at a oblique
And I got
hole. Now don't pat it. You're going to ruin the dough. You work on your flour over here, buddy. There you go. And what I'll do is I'll put a little bit of sauce on this. Just a tiny bit just to keep it damp. I'll put it in the oven for like 2 to 3 minutes. And then I'll put some more sauce, cheese, and all the toppings on it so I can get a good crust. But let me get this laid out here so I can help Mickey with what he's doing. Check back in a minute. I put a little flour on this to make it so it'll slide because you don't want it to fall off. And I got my little pizza stone here. And lay it on side by side. Got a nice little pizza stone. And you can see the crust starting to come up on the first one I put in. The second one's going to puff up in a minute. Let me close this now. This one's about ready to come out and put the toppings on. So this is the pizza just out of the oven. Just a little bit of sauce. Now I'm going to put a little bit more sauce on it in the toppings. So you can see kind of what's happening here. You can see, you know, basically some excellent crust. Let me get the sauce on this and some cheese. Okay, I'm just going to put a little bit more sauce on here. Put whatever sauce you like, whatever recipes you like, whatever toppings you like. I like to get the kids little tomato veggies, you know. Let's go for them, not just all the cheese and everything. And the best part about making pizza at home is you get friends and family helping out. Mickey was helping me out earlier. And you know what you're putting in your pizza. You know what good ingredients you're going to have.
And you know how much you're spending.
Exactly, as we mentioned before. Excellent. Put some cheese on here, and then we're good to go to put it back in the oven for another 5 minutes, and this baby's done. Check back in a few minutes, and I'll show you what the final prep is. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that pizza. Look at that wonderful crust, puffed up nicely. Beautiful. Wonderful. Someone's already eaten half the pizza.
Mm.
This is what we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen. Great little pizza napoletano. I'll show you what you can use, what you can do with the leftover dough in a minute here.